If you're a teacher, you've probably been to an education conference, training, retreat, or something along those lines. Trust me, I've had my fair share of experiences where I have a substitute teacher, then the next day, my teacher comes back with a bunch of exciting new activities they learned at their retreat. Maybe the activities are supposed to increase class participation or encourage discussion. The whole class is upended for one day where the teacher puts us in strange groups where we must discuss things in a strange manner. I'm not dissing these activities. I do believe that they work, at least for the sample class of retreating teachers they were tested on. Something does seem out of place at these retreats, though. Where are the kids? Everybody has their own idea on how education can be improved, especially education scholars and teachers. But they are all adults. Who knows better about the education system and teaching methods than a current student? I skipped first grade. I'm not saying this to brag or sound haughty, though. I'm very privileged to have a brain that learns quickly and easily, and I recognize that. Because of this experience, I have been able to analytically examine my classrooms and see how students are learning and how teachers are teaching. In my junior year, I signed up for honors pre-calculus. I was excited to take the class as math has always been my favorite subject. The teacher taught quickly yet well, and his style catered to me perfectly. In the first quarter, I got an A, understood the material thoroughly, and was excited to be somewhat challenged for the first time in my life. It was my first year at a new school, though, and I was trying to make friends. 2 of my new friends were in my math class. I watched them consistently fail tests and quizzes and earn E's and D's in the class. As I tried to help them understand the material, I realized that the problem wasn't the actual math or their capabilities. It was my teacher's teaching style. Because I have always grasped things in school easily, I have been able to see when my peers aren't understanding something and figure out why. I am a naturally inquisitive, curious, and critical person, and this has led me to study education practices from kindergarten until now, my senior year. My second grade teacher, Miss OJ, was amazing. She integrated interactive activities with learning perfectly. We held a mock trial at the federal courthouse in our town, set up a border in our classroom to learn about immigration, and so much more. She put an impressive amount of work into making sure everybody felt included and was prospering, no matter their reading level or math abilities. In 4th grade, at age 8, I was met with incompetence in the classroom for the first time. I was mature enough to realize something was wrong in my school situation when my teacher had me writing her class newsletter. Yeah, the one they send to the parents. Teachers are given the immensely difficult task to challenge, excite, and support all kids in their classroom. For many teachers I've had, this has not been a task at the forefront of their minds. Often, the curriculum is strict or very full with a certain amount of material you must get through on every day the class meets. This means teachers often don't end up thinking about the opportunity they may have to expand learning and help all their students. Teaching seems like an incredibly daunting job. Not only must a teacher keep in mind the different levels of learning students are at, they must also regard styles of learning, like auditory, visual, or kinesthetic, while also making sure their students are having fun, and paying attention to mandated curricula, and not losing papers, and keeping up with grading. Teacher seems like an incredibly daunting job. No. I'm here to tell you, though, that teaching to all students can be possible. But in my honors pre-calculus class in junior year, the teacher was only catering to my style. For my brain and my mix of learning style, he was perfect. He went at a fast pace, yet explained everything thoroughly. As I was talking to my 2 friends, though, I realized that his style was extremely catered to one learning type. They were completely lost, and he was not going at a pace that they could remotely follow. He was not fulfilling his duty as a teacher, and many students had to drop down to on-level pre-calculus because of the consistency in his style. He never tried to branch out by assigning projects or showing videos or anything else. I have had many teachers during my educational career, and I'm sure other people can tell you this as well, that have exceeded their duty and made class and learning exciting, inspiring, and fun. I'd like to acknowledge these teachers who go above and beyond. They work tirelessly and endlessly to help their students, whether they teach kindergartners the alphabet or read a PhD student's dissertation for the 10th time. I understand that when one teacher is in charge of anywhere from 15 to 40 students, you can't do everything perfectly. There are also huge funding issues in the American education system. Many teachers simply cannot do what they'd like in the classroom because they don't have the money to do it. I'd also like to acknowledge students. Adults don't give us a lot of slack, you know. We are constantly under enormous pressure to work as hard as we possibly can with little regard to our mental and physical health. This is even harder for students who don't learn in traditional ways and must advocate above and beyond for themselves and for support. Here are a couple things you, as a student, can keep in mind in the classroom to make sure that yourself and others are having a positive experience. Each student learns differently. When a teacher isn't there to support someone, you can be. When helping my friend with math, I found that she was not an auditory learner. Instead of telling her how to do a problem, I would work through it with her so that she could visualize the steps. This method worked much better for her than my teacher's fast-paced lecturing. Be open and honest with your teachers. Many teachers may be trying their best and just don't understand or see your struggle. If you tell an exceptional teacher what your problem is, they should listen to you and help you out. Advocate for others if you're doing well in a class. Often, your peers may be too shy to tell a teacher they are struggling. If you notice a friend or classmate who needs a little extra help, be there for them, either by telling the teacher to slow down or by making yourself available. Be a positive element in a community where people often struggle or feel stress and anxiety. It is incredibly important to foster a community where all students feel supported. Students can help foster these kinds of activities by paying attention in class, being active in discussions, and making sure that everybody feels supported. Together, we can work to improve the experiences that we, our friends, and our future children have during their educations. Thank you.